Hi, I'm Megan Graham and I'm a Wetlands Conservation Officer for the Rivers Environmental Restoration Program for the Lower Lachlan and the Lower Lowbidgee catchment in Western New South Wales. This program has been jointly funded by the New South Wales Government and the Australian Government's Water for the Future and Water Smart Australia program about 3 years ago. Government recognised the wetlands within the Low Lachlan, the Lower Lowbidgee, the Macquarie Marshes and the Gwydir has been not only regionally significant or nationally significant, but these are internationally significant wetlands. The wetlands here are amazing hives of biodiversity and ecological values and ecological functions. Their vastness is incredible, the difference between the wetlands is unbelievable, and the history, the Aboriginal history and the European history of these wetlands is quite remarkable as well. So because of that, this program was developed. The aim of the program that I work in is sub-program 4, and we've been aiming to work with landholders to help them manage their wetlands to improve the health of their wetlands. So that means, it just means sometimes a shift in the management, a bit of a shift in the way they manage their stock or the way they do things. And we've also worked with landholders to help improve not only their knowledge but our knowledge. So we've got an increased collective knowledge of the wetland environments.
Hi, I'm Sally Romanus. I'm married to Graham Black. Graham and his family owned Yanga, which is now a national park for years, many years, since 1919. Talpi, where we are now, was originally part of the wider Yanga station, and Graham's family have owned it for the last 30 or 40 years. So when we sold Yanga, we decided we would keep Talpi, which is a very special property with terrific small wetlands and a creek and some watercourses, and try to develop it as a small microcosm of what a property with wetlands and cropping and a variety of enterprises could be. Talpi is located in the Lowbidgee floodplain, which is a vast area of floodplain at the bottom end of the Murrumbidgee River.
A second focus of the Rivers Environmental Restoration Program, sub-program 4, is the Aboriginal Use and Values project that has been run in the Lowbidgee and the Lower Lachlan catchments. And this short DVD provides a glimpse of the Rivers Environmental Restoration Program 4 in the Low Lachlan and Lowbidgee catchments.
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of interesting things in the trees, and you never know, you just got to look around, and sometimes, you know, you'll come across very important things for the Aboriginal people. You know, like this canoe tree here, for instance. The tree could be anything from, you know, 800 years old or older, and as you'll see, the canoe tree has been taken off a mature tree. You can't go and strip a bark canoe off those, like those little light ones out there, 40, 50-year-old. They cut a channel all the way around for a start, and then they make little wedges out of small gums and keep hitting them in under the bark, and when they get it lifted to a certain thing, they might have a longer one where they can poke it in and just keep edging it off like that. There could be 4 or 5 blokes to take that off. It's pretty heavy.
Now we've got a shell midden here, a freshwater mussel shell midden. It was shown to me by Bez Murray here on Talpi. There's probably dozens of these shell middens along the Talpi Creek. Probably one every 400 or 500 metres you'd come across a shell midden or a mound. And all these shells here are just crushed up from over the years of being cooked on. Yeah, behind me here is a ring tree, indicating that it could be a burial tree, a meeting place also. Yeah, well, I feel, and what I've heard from the older Aboriginal people, they were tied with sinews from a kangaroo, and they would grow out and graft, and they would grow out with the rings, either 1 or 2. But I feel with the 2, it would be a boundary tree, and indicating to another tribe that this is our area, so don't come any further than here. And I feel that this is the one here behind me,
over my shoulder here now would be a burial after finding these remains of an Aboriginal skeleton here, which has been buried just 50 or so metres away from where we're standing here now, at the butt of a gum tree.
So Baz, we've been working together here for years and years and years.
That's correct,
and
yes.
You've been showing me over the years all these amazing Aboriginal sites, and it's one of the things that has really informed us about looking at the REP program, that was why it was so important to us to start to talk to you, Roly, and everybody else involved in the program. And I think it's really terrific that you've found all these sites.
My name's Tara Dixon. I was a site recorder for the Aboriginal Cultural Heritage Program. I currently work for Nari Tribal Council, and Roly Williams came and asked if I'd like to be employed to help out doing site identification at Norwood and Yolonga. I learnt how to use a PDA and how to identify sites, how to measure scar trees and enter all that into the PDA, which I found that was really interesting. That was one of my favourite bits. And some of the mounds, I knew that mounds could be large, but some of the mounds were huge. They were just ginormous. I wasn't aware that they could be so big and spread out in such a large area.
Hi, my name's Renee Woods. My involvement with the RARP archaeology surveys in the Hay and Balranald area, my involvement was sort of a team leader from day to day. I had two other young guys with me throughout the days, or the 6 weeks that it actually took, and we went off walking and found everything from burials to stone artefacts, mounds, middens, halves, like the whole scale, everything you find. So, and the proper recording to go into the AIM system, which I think was the big part of it as well. I'll learn more about the use and values of the wetlands. I just thought they were just swamps, but the amount of sites and cultural heritage around the wetlands areas is just phenomenal, and how the different uses, like from mussel shell to fish, yabby claws, the lot. It was, the things we found were just unreal, a real eye-opener. Even as me as an ACO, it was phenomenal.
Another important aspect of the work that we've been doing under the RERP sub-program 4 was that we visited, I think it was about 13 properties within the Low Lachlan and Lowbidgee wetlands, and we'd recorded over 1,100 sites, close to 1,200 sites, which were not known before. And that's only on 13 properties down in these wetland areas, and that we only covered half of the properties. So there's bound to be thousands and thousands more out there.
To get the youth back out onto country, a lot of them just stick in town, and the involvement with the youth, especially in the Balranald area, was one of the big things. I think 70% or 80% of the people that we used in the Balranald area were actually under 20, so, which was a big thing. I think for the RERP to continue and everything that's come out of the project so far, the follow-up stuff that needs to be done, because there is still a lot of areas that need to be surveyed, the wetlands still need to be worked on, the communities still need a lot more training, and the RERP, even though it was just a 6 weeks thing, the self-belief that it gives community and the importance to community that they were working back on country was a big thing with the RERP.
Yeah, well this tree, as I said, needs water badly a lot, and I suppose some more of them might need it more so, you know, up in the higher country. But down here, where this is the main flow of the water coming from the Lowbidgee River, right from the Red Bank Weir, flowing down here and down all these creeks. There's lots of creeks that come down now that are simply dry.
So the future for Tulpe is a sort of combination and mixed enterprise. We have to be economically viable to sustain our cropping enterprises. We'd like to see water in the lakes and the swamps, environmental sustainability, and we also will continue to look after and respect all the Aboriginal sites on this place. And we're so lucky to be effectively the custodians, along with other people, of this land, which is full of amazing places where you can just see and feel how many years people have lived here and camped here and eaten shellfish. But without being able to run sheep and possibly cattle and have a sustainable cropping enterprise, then we can't afford to carry on looking after the wetlands. So it's a sort of symbiosis. It's essential that we both have water for the wetlands and we're able to carry on with our farming enterprises as well.
What I hope for the future, I feel that after going through 10, 12 years of drought, I hope we have a turnaround soon and have a change and have water flowing down these creeks. Actually, I hope it does turn into a flood. I have seen floods back in 1948 and 51, 56, 74 and 93, and I know what it means to have that water down here. It's very, very important. If we don't get that, well, I can't see much future really in the life in the bush. As we looked at today, that canoe tree here on Tulpe and other in the ring trees and that, it's important that we have the water down through those to keep them alive. Otherwise they'll die, and not only that, they'll just fall over. I know they can buy water here and there, but don't forget us.
Well, now that we've struck up a good relationship with some of the landholders in the Lowbidgee and Lower Lachlan, I'd like to see that work continue, and actually tried to get access and use agreements for Aboriginal communities to get onto these wetlands. And with our young Aboriginal people, we'd like to take them out to teach them some traditional Aboriginal culture and the uses of those wetland areas, like the importance of the plants and the animal life that are around there, as well as the old sites that are a non-renewable resource. Those sites, some of them are up to thousands and thousands of years old, and we have to preserve those for all of our future generations, both black and white. And as I said earlier, this work needs to continue to preserve those areas.